Married twice, her second husband gives her an allowance of $1,000 a month. She would go pick up young girls at night without their parents' permission to bring them to her house. She also would judge whether or not they were pretty enough. After 14 years of marriage, her husband wants to divorce her, and I can understand why. In Los Gatos, California, at the high school named Los Gatos, it's located in an affluent, wealthy neighborhood, there is a teacher there by the name of Mrs. Shannon O'Connor, 48 years old. She's also known as the party mom. You could do anything in her mansion when her executive husband is not around. And if he is, she will host these parties at Airbnbs in Lake Tahoe. They will still continue. Shannon is the mother of 2 sons. She would throw dangerous alcohol-fueled parties and encourage guests ranging from the ages 13 to 16 to engage in sex acts while she watched for sexual gratification. Though she pled not guilty, she's been in jail since she got arrested in October 2021. And at the time, it was without bail for more than a year, awaiting trial. She was also attacked by 5 female inmates, where she was currently stationed at Elmwood Correctional Facility when they found out about the charges and why Miss O'Connor was currently in jail. Even though O'Connor may feel like being in jail is hell to her, the stain she left on some of the partygoers, they feel about the same way. And the choices and the decisions that were made there, but pushed along by Miss O'Connor in that mansion. Jane Doe says her life had fallen apart. She will always be known as the girl that got R by extremely toxic boys while Miss O'Connor watched, and that this cloud will hang over her head forever. Another victim says that Miss O'Connor followed her with no headlights on in a car with her 2 sons, screaming and calling her nasty names. There's a lot of Jane Does and a lot of the parents of these Jane Does that are just overly upset and disgusted by what went on with this teacher. Supposed to be a trusted teacher, but she's teaching 14-year-old girls how to, quote, get drunk like a rock star. And she is making these children, because they're so intoxicated, she's pretty much controlling these children to engage in these acts with one another while she is there, enjoying it. So far, Miss O'Connor is charged with 39 criminal counts, including felony child endangerment, sexual battery on children 13 to 15. She Googles things like good books with young sex in it, hot 16-year-old teenage girls, prettiest 16-year-old girls. She looked at these teens like on these TikTok apps where they're dancing, in revealing clothing. She looked at those videos, even downloaded those videos, and saved the videos to her phone. Authorities don't know if she actually knew these victims, but I'm pretty sure, or I should say, knew these young girls that were dancing in these videos. But I'm pretty sure that authorities would do their research and investigate and find out if these girls dancing in these videos were in fact victims. But this is what this woman would do. So much calling people just trying to scare them. She even told her children on a recorded line from prison, maybe she didn't know, but she told them, you pretty much don't say a thing about anything that went on during this time. She moved from California to a part of Ohio, and she Googled, can she still get charged with anything that happened in California if she is now in Ohio? The crazy part is she's supposed to be a teacher. And you don't have to be that smart to know that if you do something in one state and move to another state, you still are liable. You can't just kill somebody in New Jersey and then move to New York and it's going to be okay. If that was true, then a lot of people will be doing things in one state and just simply moving to another state. So for her to think that these charges, all 39, were going to go away, she is very foolish. Now, her defense was advising her at one point to change her plea, and they were asking to do 8 years or less, but I believe she may have turned that down. With all these charges, I've read that she's looking at 20 years. No less than 17 can be done. She doesn't want that. She denied that. She said she was going to, I believe, take this to trial. So it's a lot to this story, but I was just basically bringing you guys the gist of this story. I did something similar to it, the cool moms, and the things that they did. I will leave that in the description box. Some of them got sentenced, some of them didn't. You'd be surprised. And a lot of them, what they did was extreme as well. Hey, they had the blonde hair too going on. That seems to be a pass for a lot of these teachers if you look a certain kind of way. So just horrible. And yeah, her husband was the breadwinner, and he filed for divorce, and he wasn't going to put up with this nonsense anymore. And I don't blame her. It's a lot to the story. So if you're interested in seeing where Miss Shannon O'Connor is going to go with all this abuse that she did to these young people, just Google her name. It is all right there. I will definitely be watching to see when she's sentenced. I need to add 2 more things about this creepy teacher. She had stolen over $120,000 from the Los Gatos school. She had some kind of executive card that she was able to use, or account number that she was able to use. And she stole this money, of course, to also help fund, getting these young people drunk and intoxicated so they can engage in these behaviors. And remember, probably her $1,000 a month allowance was not going to help with buying alcohol and these fancy Airbnbs out of town when her husband was back home. So she had to get the money from somewhere. Meanwhile, after that fight with the 5 female inmates that jumped her, she was also part of a drug ring while in this county jail. So if you ask me, I don't think that Miss Shannon wants to get out of jail quite so quickly. I mean, she's doing all this stuff behind bars, and she's adding more charges on her. She's looking at, they're trying to give her 8 years or less. That's what her defense is saying. The courts is actually wanting her to have between 17 to 20 years. Meanwhile, she's doing all this nonsense behind bars. I cannot wait to find out what this woman's sentence is going to be.